good catalog of the best plants that can be grown in this climate.
Being able to grow my own food is probably about as good as it gets.
I haven't really watered it in almost a year, and I don't have to mow, and the weeding is minimal.
Welcome to the Sustainable Region. I'm Vanessa Timmer. Today we're at the community gardens at Colony Farm Regional Park. Local gardening is the focus of today's program. We're going to find out about a new online resource for sustainable gardening, see how a community garden brings people together to share their harvests, and find out why planting native species reduces water demand and improves the ecology of our region. Choosing the right plants for a local healthy garden can be a challenge, especially if you're just starting out. To fill this gap, Metro Vancouver created the Grow Green Guide with landscaping designs and plant advice for local species. This interactive site customizes the plant recommendations and design ideas to match your outdoor space, from apartment balconies to big backyards.
Metro Vancouver approached us to help to fill out the Grow Green Guide because we have expertise in a variety of plants.
Metro Vancouver's Grow Green Guide was launched in the spring of 2016. The interactive website provides gardeners with plant suggestions and landscaping advice based on their specific requirements, so they can utilize local species that are a good match for our region's climate.
It's a good catalog of the best plants that can be grown in this climate, but also the design element, which was to put those plants together in beautiful, innovative designs so that people could kind of imagine what it would be like to grow those plants in their backyard. The great thing about this technology is that it allows these little vignettes to be presented. So people can look at that and say, wow, I like that design, I like that color scheme, I like those plants. So here we have a native onion. This is a plant that's in the Grow Green Guide. The reason it's in the Grow Green Guide is that it's a very, very good performer in this climate. So one of the great things about the nodding onion is that it's attractive to our native bumblebees and to other native bees, as well as the European honeybee. And so on a sunny day, this will be visited by all manner of bees. So for example, if you have vegetables, this is a real magnet for the pollinators, and they're going to then visit other plants.
The Grow Green Guide isn't just for people with vegetable gardens and big backyards. Planting suggestions for townhouse, condominium, and apartment dwellers are a key feature of the guide.
If you want a small plant for a shady balcony, your first choices should probably be something in the native plant arena. Woodland plants from this part of the world can both tolerate summer drought to a great degree, but also they're adapted to being mostly under forest canopy, and so they can tolerate shade. Going outside of the native arena, hostas are excellent plants. They are surprisingly drought tolerant, and they're certainly shade tolerant. And the great thing about hostas is they're very good container plants, and they associate well with native plants, but also with ferns generally. So that nice bold leaf pattern goes really well with the sort of finer texture of ferns. Most of the hostas, you can see very, very tough leaves. Once the leaves are expanded, they don't really need very much in the way of watering. They can tolerate extended periods of drought. And then summertime, we have these attractive flowers, and we've seen hummingbirds go for these flowers. Great in containers, great in the garden as well.
A key audience for the guide is novice gardeners who can take advantage of the simple step-by-step approach. But Justice emphasizes that gardening knowledge can also be gained just by digging in.
The most important thing is just to jump in. Almost 100% of the time, once people start doing it, they say, hey, this is not hard. You know, why did I think it was difficult? That's why I'm a real booster for the Grow Green Guide.
Welcome back to the Sustainable Region. I'm Vanessa Timmer. Gardens such as these community plots at Colony Farm Regional Park have meant nourishment since the dawn of time. Today, an opportunity to grow and harvest our own food not only offers sustenance, but can also be a way to feed our souls. With more people living in apartments, condos, and townhouses, not everyone has a backyard to call their own, and some people can't manage the physical demands of gardening. But around the region, community gardens put good food on plenty of plates. A great example is Somerset Gardens in Surrey. The residents welcome the opportunity to grow their own food, and they also reap another kind of harvest, the friendships that take root where the seeds of community are planted.
Metro Vancouver's Somerset Gardens housing site in Surrey is a trailblazer when it comes to community gardens.
So there's not enough good things that I can say about community gardens. Number one, they bring people together. People are able to grow vegetables, and in the day of the $12 cauliflower, it's really important to be able to supplement what you put on the kitchen table for dinner and cut down on the grocery costs.
When we harvest the plants, we obviously give a few of our things away, but we also blanch, you know, the green beans, the beets, and the carrots. You know, we blanch a lot of them, and they last us through the winter months. So, and then we know that they were fresh when we pull them. So they last a long while.
Can I take that? And
yes. Grab some soil.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Community gardens can be a great source of pride for individuals and for the community of gardeners who tend them.
The gardens are important to me, you know, for a couple of reasons. Being able to grow my own food is probably about as good as it gets. You know, holistically, it's also really awesome. You know, this is my happy place, and you know, it's easy to be relaxed in the garden. Getting your hands dirty and your feet dirty and being in the earth is just healing. My pride and joy of the garden is my quinoa plant. And this is the first time I've grown quinoa, of course.
It just makes a person feel that they've got a purpose in life. As you get older, well, obviously that you can't do as much, and it's just good to have at least one thing that you can come and call it your own, and be doing something that you used to do in your earlier years.
It's loose soil, so it is really sandy soil. Okay, I think we've got a new home for this tomato.
You know, it's a great place to meet your neighbors, and you're meeting folks who are like-minded, that are passionate about growing their own food and being in the dirt, and so you know, it's a really awesome, friendly place. It's a great community spirit.
Individuals are able to learn from each other and share their knowledge and benefit.
The tomatoes are a really good example. I had these, what I thought could be weeds popping up everywhere in this garden, and they ended up being the cherry tomato plants from the gardener before. So Pam helped me identify that these were definitely tomatoes, and I've been able to distribute them in other garden plots, you know, in the community garden here.
The Somerset gardeners are serious about sustainability. This composter converts green waste into beautiful compost for the gardens. The Somerset community spirit is further illustrated with their innovative harvest box.
The harvest box is something that is an idea that came from the community gardeners here, so I totally credit them with it. I think it's a wonderful initiative. They noticed that members of their community, for whatever reason, be that age, mobility, or other issues, needed fresh fruits and vegetables, were on limited incomes, and were unable to garden themselves. So they, as gardeners, decided to build a box that they call the harvest box. And gardeners are invited to contribute, donate to the garden box. And during the harvest season, they actually have a list of households where they will deliver a basket of this week's harvest to each person.
Exactly, those tomatoes.
I know, they're almost perfect, aren't they?
Radishes too.
Each garden plot is unique, so the harvest box deliveries are different each week. There are 27 community gardens at Metro Vancouver's housing sites, but that number is ever growing.
We keep looking for opportunities to expand gardens. We keep looking for new sites where there is interest from the community on gardens. It's kind of like putting something beautiful in what was asphalt.
Welcome back to the Sustainable Region. I'm Vanessa Timmer. Gardening is a rewarding tradition on the West Coast, where our wet and temperate climate offers great conditions for growing plants from around the world. Still, gardeners are choosing native species and water-resistant plants in order to maintain healthy and appealing gardens, even when water restrictions apply. Metro Vancouver's Grow Green Guide makes gardening easier with local plant recommendations and eco-friendly gardening ideas. Reducing demand on our water supply is part of the plan. This water-wise strategy is being embraced by municipalities, commercial landscapers, educators, and individual homeowners.
Across the region, conserving water is becoming an important consideration in creating sustainable gardens. At Terra Nova Rural Farm Park in Richmond, the Water-Wise demonstration garden provides visitors and community gardeners with examples of low water use options, such as drip irrigation. In Vancouver, at the City Farmer Demonstration Gardens, the value of drip irrigation is just one of the key concepts for sustainable gardening, shared by educator Lindsay Doby.
So this bed is a sample of our drip irrigation system. So what we use is a hose which has lots of very small holes in it, and it's laid right in the bed beside the roots of the plant. This provides water right at the roots of the plant, which is where it needs it. It doesn't waste water, and it's healthiest for the plants. What we don't want to do for plants is provide water on the leaves. They don't take the water in through their leaves, and also some plant diseases can be caused by having water that sits in the leaves of the plant.
Lawns have traditionally been a popular landscaping choice for homeowners, but they need a lot of water and are susceptible to pests such as chafer beetles. Karen England updated her front yard with an attractive, low-maintenance alternative.
So by 2015 in the spring, we had no lawn left. We had kind of the moonscape that's left behind after chafer beetle. So I started doing research about lawn alternatives, and I came across a garden in Sissinghurst, which is a famous English garden, where they had installed a thyme lawn. And I thought that we could make it work. There's a mixture of 3 different varieties. There's red creeping thyme, white creeping thyme, and woolly thyme. And you can see this is almost a year later. It's filled in very nicely, and it's doing very well. I haven't really watered it in almost a year, and I don't have to mow, and the weeding is minimal. Most of the plants that are included in the yard are very low water use, and that was a conscious decision. The more water-intensive plants I've placed closer to the building face on the north side of the building, so it's naturally damper there, more moist there, and I don't have to water as much in that area.
Promoting water conservation is an important initiative for Metro Vancouver, and one of the reasons for the Grow Green Guide. At the Anasis Research Centre, it's also part of the landscape. Native vegetation, rainwater collection, and a green roof are key features of the building and the surrounding grounds. As commercial landscaper Sheldon Readout notes, there's another benefit beyond drought resistance.
One of the benefits of using a lot of these more drought-tolerant plants like lavender and salvia and that sort of stuff, it's also a pollinator attractant. So you end up doing 2 things. You help with the pollinators, which is a big thing right now, as well as you get plants that are flowering through the summer and you're not having to put a lot of effort into it.
Karen England also had bees in mind with her plant selection.
Behind me you can see some plants that have been selected because they are pollinator supporting and low water use. So there's a Salvia caradonna that the bees adore. Again, low water use, long blooming. A Russian sage blooms a bit later in the summer and again is attractive to bees. And perhaps my favorite plant in the garden is a plant called Daphne. This one is called Eternal Fragrance, and it starts blooming in February and doesn't quit until October. And if you were here in person, that is the plant that is filling the garden with beautiful perfume.
As our gardeners note, when it comes to creating a sustainable garden, plant selection, location, and timing are important. And the Grow Green Guide can help with all of it.
Don't try and fight against what you have. Work with the growing conditions you have and choose a plant that will thrive there.
People will try and plant stuff in June, July, August and not realize that even though like today we're on a January sort of day, 2 weeks from now it could be 30 degrees outside and that plant that you just stuck in the ground is suffering all summer because you're not watering it.
When I speak to people about gardening, everyone's looking for something that they can do to help with the issues that we're facing right now. Habitat loss, pollinator decline, heat in the summer, increasing water restrictions. People are looking for easy, ready to go, trustworthy solutions for our local environment, and Grow Green provides that.
Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching. You can watch, comment on, and share these stories and more at our blog at metrovancouvervideos.org. And if you're interested in sustainable gardening, be sure to visit the Grow Green website at growgreenguide.ca for design ideas and plant suggestions to suit everything from apartment balconies to big backyards. For the Sustainable Region, I'm Vanessa Timmer. See you next time.